let's give him a big round of applause and welcome him. Thanks.
Thank you. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. It's always great to come and spread the mobile gospel, which is what I do a lot with the Mobile Monday effort. So the presentation is actually in mobile, so it's kind of small on the screen, so you have to follow me on your device. That's not true. Actually, I was going to say though that this I'm using Prezi. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but it has a really great iPad app. Doesn't work too well for a presentation like this, but it works really great when you're doing one-on-one presentations, if you're doing pitch, sales, anything that you're doing where you're pitching somebody. It has an amazing presentation. Also, if you did actually want to see this presentation on your mobile device, you can go to appervasive.com, and there's actually a link right there. It says Keith Bourne's presentation. Click on that, and you can see what it looks like in Prezi on your device. That's pretty cool. The other cool thing you can see is if you go to it on your mobile device, it will be a mobilized website. If you go to it on your computer, you'll see an actual normal website. So it kind of gives you an idea of what it means to mobilize a website. But that's actually that's kind of the starting point of people going mobile. I'm not going to talk much about that. There's a lot of information out there about mobilizing your website. I'm happy to answer questions after the presentation. But I'm going to go beyond that, and just talk more about the more forward-looking activities in mobile, and I'll talk about that. So let's get started here. So this is 2012. It's the year of big bold predictions. China's going under. Europe's going under. The world might actually end this year, according to some people. So I'm going to throw my hat in the ring here and make a big bold prediction about mobile. In 2011, mobile arrived. So the prediction this year is that the mobile is going to arrive. I feel like that's already happened. And when I say arrive, I'm talking about a lot of the metrics that people use to sort of determine, when markets have arrived. A lot of those things hit tipping points last year in terms of website traffic, sales on mobile, adoption of the technology, all these different things people use happened last year. And so a lot of companies in the mainstream markets started investing a lot more in mobile and testing it out. And that's actually what I feel makes 2012 so interesting, is the companies now have done some things, and they're going to turn around and actually start utilizing what they've learned the first year. There's a lot of trial and error, and 2012 is probably the first year where you'll see a lot of really great utilization of what people learned in mobile. And I think it starts to get you to the point where people will take it to the next level and start really pulling mobile into a very prominent role in their marketing efforts. So that's a big transition for something that's so new, such a new market. So I think that's as bold as I can get. So first, a little background check on me. My mobile experience actually goes back to '98. I co-founded a company called Web2 Radio with some engineers down in North Carolina, and back then it was a whole different game. To do what we were doing back then cost billions of dollars. We weren't spending billions of dollars. Our partner companies were spending billions of dollars. But nowadays, it's the equivalent of basically putting together some software and some business relationships and throwing it up on the App Store. And much easier to do what we were trying to do back then. The companies that we partnered with actually spent a little too much and went out of business, and that was the end of that. Beyond that, I've worked on a lot of things, a lot in the digital space, e-commerce, web, social, mobile. Coming up to closer to today, as Derek mentioned, I helped co-found Mobile Monday Michigan. After a year and a half, we're over 1,500 members. We have 4 chapters in Michigan. I helped to organize the Ann Arbor chapter primarily, and we have over 450 members in this chapter, so it's very active. I encourage you to come out. March will be a really interesting one. If you're interested in the marketing side of mobile, you probably want to come to the March event. Again, it's the first Monday of every month, but and then we meet down at Ann Arbor Spark. But this one's focused on market research, and they actually, the company put a lot of money and a lot of resources behind some cool research and following people around and seeing how they actually utilize mobile in an everyday experience. And so it's going to have a real impact if you're thinking about mobile and how people are utilizing it to understand how you could use it in your marketing programs. This will be a really great session to attend. And then we'll be covering some other marketing-related events in May and further beyond that. I also organize e-commerce Ann Arbor. We meet down at the Work and Tile Exchange on the third Monday of the month. And that just started this past summer. We've got 130-something members now. And we've had some pretty good presentations. We plan to do a lot more with that group. Business-wise, I'm the marketing director for Arbor Scientific. I see my boss in the audience. Hi, Peter.
That's good.
I've also worked with several mobile companies through a company called Pervasive, and we've done a lot of different things. There's a lot of really neat things going on here in Ann Arbor, just in town here, beyond just what's going on out there in the world. And I've had the privilege to be involved in some of those efforts, and it's been a lot of fun. Now, I'll talk about a couple of them as I go through the presentation. So into the presentation, this is sort of the standard definition of mobile commerce. I think I got it from Wikipedia or something, but it's the ability to conduct commerce using a mobile device. It's kind of blah, but the reality is that it's a much more dynamic universe now, especially over the last 4 years. Things have fragmented and exploded in terms of activity and types of devices and all kinds of different things going on. It's very hard to encapsulate it in a little definition like that. I got a multiple choice question here, and the question isn't actually which one you think is true. It's at what point would you start to take something like a new market, like a new channel like mobile seriously? And I'll just walk through it. With A, 0.1%, we saw this at some point. And, it's kind of a blip on the radar. Not a lot of people are taking it serious at that point. At B, 1-3% starts to get a little bit more interesting. 3%, it's not quite at that threshold a lot of people look, but, it's starting to rise. I think it's at C where the 2 and 5%, and actually I can explain this, but this is October 2010 and October 2011 growth mobile percentage of e-commerce. The 2 and 5% number, 5% is really a threshold. A lot of companies start to look at what's going on in a market. When it takes up 5% of a market, or this certain market is 5% of their overall growth. That's where they start to see. And it's also going from 2 to 5%. That means next year it'll probably be at 8 or 10%, depending on how fast it's accelerating. So that's kind of the point that people really start to take things more serious and at least start to invest some of the resources into it. But the reality is that mobile is actually already at D, 3 and 10% these last 2 years. And this is a sales percentage. So the Bourne is already leading, and I think that's an important point to make. The Black Friday is always, if you're in the e-commerce world, it's always something that a lot of people talk about. Just for Black Friday, 2009, 1% mobile, 5.6% in 2010. So you saw an even higher acceleration of growth on that day. And then this past Black Friday, we had 9.8% of sales were mobile. So that's a big chunk of the e-commerce market. And this is the market. E-commerce in general grew by, I think, 20 or 30% last year. So this is huge. And the interesting thing to me is that seeing a lot of stuff in e-commerce over the years, the discussion up until not too far ago was actually about Cyber Monday if you're in the e-commerce world, and now everybody's talking about Black Friday. And I think that's one of the interesting things about mobile is it actually brings the fight right into Black Friday directly against the retail stores and the bricks and mortars, and gives e-commerce an edge in that area. So it's changing even the groups that you don't normally associate it with. I thought this was kind of a funny little thing here, but I'm not picking on social media. I think it has a really great place in marketing. But there's been a lot of talk over the years about the effects on direct sales, on actually leading people, and the effects on e-commerce sales and things like that from social media. This is the number for Black Friday for social media. So something that's really been a darling for the last 10 years, hasn't shown a lot of momentum yet in this area. I never really thought it would. Haven't been involved in social media a lot. I think that it has a different place. It's more in branding, customer loyalty, and things like that. But there's a lot of people out there that pitch social media as a way to make sales. And to kind of compare the two things that have been hyped up in the last few years, I think mobile at least sees its place in being better at generating direct sales. So quick history check here. The 1997, Coca-Cola installed 2 vending machines in Helsinki, and somebody sent a text, bought a Coke, and that is credited as the first mobile transaction. And of course, after that, mobile blew up because we're all buying our stuff via text now, right? And that's has anybody here bought anything via text, like through a vending machine or anything like that?
Not
Anybody? Huh?
in Australia.
In Australia? So that's one person. One more that I usually get when I ask that question. I guess my point here is that the technology was there to do some things. But as we know, things didn't really take off that fast. I feel like mobile as we know it today, mobile is what I'm talking about in this presentation, really didn't come to be until January 7th, 2007. And so if you go forward 2 years, or 10 years, and let me see if I get this to go. Can you everybody give us?
Yeah. Touch control, revolution control the phone, breakthrough internet.
Yeah.
You turn your eyes on.
An iPod, a phone, and an internet communicator. An iPod, a phone. Are we getting it? These are not 3 separate devices. This is one device. And we are calling it iPhone. Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone. Here it is. Now, actually, here it is, but we're going to leave it there for now. So, before we get into it, let me talk about a category of things. The most advanced phones are called smartphones, so they say. And they typically combine a phone plus some email capability, plus they say it's the internet, sort of the baby internet, into one device, and they all have these plastic little keyboards on them. And the problem is that they're not so smart, and they're not so easy to use. So if you kind of make a Business School 101 graph of the smart axis and the easy to use axis, phones, regular cell phones are kind of right there. They're not so smart, and they're not so easy to use. But smartphones are definitely a little smarter, but they actually are harder to use. They're really complicated. Just for the basic stuff, people have a hard time figuring out how to use them.
All right. Well, that's good enough anyway. He basically just goes on to say that he's going to reinvent the phone, and that's what they did. I think that really was the turning point. And regardless of what platform you prefer, I think that this point in history actually made the big difference for everyone that's in mobile. And really, so I kind of measure it from that point on. We've seen just incredible growth in how mobile phones have been utilized. And analysts now are predicting that by 2015, over $100 billion in sales will be done over the mobile phone, and that's pretty massive growth. As I mentioned when I was talking about my phone, the mobilized website, the starting point is typically mobilizing your website, and that's a good starting point. But I think a lot of potential mobile is still it's in all these other things that you can do, because the device is with you. You're not chained to your desktop with this device, and that really changes the game in a whole lot of ways. So I'm going to spend the rest of the presentation going over how companies out there are changing the game, and I'm focused on ways that not just they can make money, but that a lot of different companies can utilize and make money, whether you're in retail or online or what have you. So here are all the things. So I kind of alluded to this earlier, but the bricks and mortar, there's a lot of impact that mobile's having there and will have there. It's bringing people back into the stores with more information. I think by now everyone is supposed to be only shopping online, flying around space cars. I think they were telling us in the late 90s, right? Quite a few people still shop in real stores. Retail is still alive and kicking, and mobile can in a lot of ways become a strength for them, but can also become a barrier if they don't handle it right. You're bringing all of your competitors into the store with you, or the customer is, and so it has to be handled properly. But this concept of the brick and mortar really becoming a battleground between mobile and the actual store itself is a major trend from last year to this year. Location in general is obviously can play a big role in what mobile has over other channels. We know where you are, it's kind of the thing. And even if we don't know who you are, we know that you're here and we can follow you around and things like that. One company I wanted to point out that is kind of cool is Shopkick. I don't know if anybody's heard about this group, but they're very popular in retail merchandising now. Basically what happens is it's like a loyalty card, but you get points just for showing up in the store. And all the research basically says that if you come into the store, you're very likely to shop. And so retail does all these different things to get you to get into the door, because they know the conversion there will be very high. So what this is basically geared towards is that concept, and it's been very successful for a lot of retail stores. I think the Gap is using it, and a few other big chains. Mobile loyalty related, but separate topic. Vouchers, coupons, loyalty cards. This is one of the areas that I was working with a company here in town. This is so you think about these cards that you get. And you have I have like 30. I don't keep any of most of them in my wallet. I have maybe 2 or 3 at any given time, and anything beyond that, you really don't have the space for. Mobile changed that. You can have 100 companies loyalty cards too in your phone, and it doesn't make a big difference in terms of taking up your wallet size. So that kind of changes the game there. But from there, now it's dynamic. Now it's connected. Now they have information. We start to look at trends and how people are shopping. If they're using the card once a month, and you want them to become a shopper, come in twice or 3 times a month, you start to offer them deals. If there's somebody that actually shops 3 times a month and you want to increase the average sale, then you offer them deals to encourage that. You know that information with this. Really didn't get that kind of information out of loyalty cards in the past. And the other cool thing is that the typical loyalty card was used 1 to 2%. Whereas we found over 10% usage in the first few months. And so this company's actually changed their name and they're in stealth mode now, but you look for that technology. There's a couple others doing some similar activities. Mobile ticketing, this is really just an industry in its infancy right now. How many here have used mobile ticketing to check through on their flights? So a handful of people here. That's really just the first step. I mean, you think about the different things you can do with having a dynamic ticket in your cell phone, being able to upgrade, change stickers, not just with airlines, but with venues and things like that, where you can, you might even be able to change your seat while you're at the place. You see, you know that one's open, that the venue knows that a seat is open, and if you pay an extra $10, they can make the $5,000 they wouldn't have made had people not been able to upgrade right there in the arena. So there's a lot of different things they can do. They can establish partnerships with other companies and take these and basically add a lot of additional revenue streams from the different things you can do with mobile ticketing. Mobile apps obviously has been a really hot topic for a couple of years now. There's quite a few mobile apps out there, so you have to be really good at defining what you want to do with a mobile app, and I think there's still a lot of opportunity out there for it. But obviously, the days of just creating an app and everybody finding it are over. You have to actually market it. So one of the key things you want to consider here is consider a marketing budget for your mobile app. Your mobile app isn't just your marketing budget. I would say, if you spend whatever you spend in your app, I would expect to spend at least that much on the marketing side of things in that same year. And the other cool thing about mobile apps is that they can be a sales channel just as much as they can be a marketing channel. So you kind of have to decide what you want to do with it. I mean, you can make it both, you can make it one, or you can make it the other, and that will dictate how you're going to establish those marketing campaigns around it. But the beauty of it is it really establishes almost a completely proprietary sales channel for your company, if that's the route you want to go. A couple other things that I'm just going to glance over because I think they're pretty obvious, but they don't apply to a lot of people. Things like content purchases, that's like the iTunes store, things like that. Mobile purchases, the new technologies coming out where you can actually make a purchase with your phone. Those are all technologies that are changing the way people are utilizing mobile in companies and retail and different places, but they're pretty straightforward. Let's see, so how are we doing on time here? 12:28. Okay, so I'm going to play this because I want you to see what's going on with the cows. This is QR codes, which is really sort of the darling of the mobile industry for the last year. QR codes, I don't know if you realize, if you know about this, but last summer the postal system basically gave a discount, 3% discount to anyone that was doing direct mail of any sort. And basically, if you had a QR code in your mail, you would get 3% off your mailing costs for the summer. And so a lot of people utilize that. That's why there's this huge boom in QR codes. A lot of the people did the implementation pretty poorly, but that kind of brought it up to speed here. So a lot of people have heard of QR codes now, but this is, I thought, one of the more innovative ways to utilize QR codes. Let's see. So it's in French. So I don't know. Can everybody see the subtitles? You can't all shut up, but I don't know if it's harder to read. So I'll just kind of explain what he's doing here. So this is a farmer out in rural France. He's got QR codes on the cows. People driving by see that, stop their cars instantly because it's like, I don't know if everybody's Seth Godin, the purple cow. This is a real purple cow here. I mean, you paint a cow purple. I don't know how much sales you're going to get, but if you put a QR code on a cow, apparently it can really help your business as a farmer. So now this farmer, for the first time in his life, is going direct to consumer, and he's got a booming business. You'll see him sitting in his shack selling stuff, and I just thought it was really funny how they're doing it. So now, actually, the next stage of this is the dairy industry over there, and this is a really cool concept too. When you scan the QR code, and this is a key part of QR codes, is you need to have something that's really cool at the end of that QR code, or people are going to be real mad at you for taking the time to scan it. But they have like a little game. If you get, like kind of like a lottery type of thing, you scratch off the right one. you can win something. So then you go and collect what you had won, and then you end up buying a lot of other stuff. And that's what they found was really successful. Now the dairy industry is actually in France has taken this to the next level and incorporating QR codes into a lot more of their campaigns due to this guy's efforts. So I think that's pretty cool, and I think it's just an indicator too of just how there's still a lot left out there, for people to innovate this field and bring in more business. Yeah, so this is funny too. Yeah, that's the one problem he said he had is people couldn't scan very easily from behind the fence, so they're jumping the fence. But everything has its quirks that have to be worked out. Okay, there's a company here in town actually, Deal Savant, and I wanted to point them out. They have a great application that they launched already, and they're growing. But basically what it does is it uses QR codes, and it has a whole set of analytics behind the QR codes that you can track, and people are using it in local stores and things like that. And they're getting traction based on that technology as well. Footpath technology is pretty cool. I don't actually need to know who you are or even have access to your phone to pick up your phone. And there's a lot of quirks in how they're using this technology that they're working out right now. But they're already able to get a lot of information from it. But the basic idea is we can kind of sense you here with your cell phone. And that at least gives you the information of where your customers are going in your store and give you footpath stuff. So you see like here it's women's wear and cards and candy are the really popular areas. So if you're trying to get some other things at high margin, you want to put them next to those areas, you would now you know where the traffic is and where it's collecting, and you can arrange your store in a way that utilizes that better. So I thought that was really cool technology. And then, of course, the future is wide open. There's a lot more coming up and down the pipeline, and it's up to everyone to really innovate and take advantage of this stuff. But that's just sort of like a tip of the iceberg of all the things going. My notion on the whole thing is that actually I think when mobile has truly become as successful at becoming reaching the potential that it has, we're not even going to realize that it's mobile. It's going to be so pervasive across all these different things. It's going to be in our clothes and our different devices and all these different things. I mean, it's already starting to happen right now. The iPad, I think, is a good example. It's debatable as to whether iPad is truly mobile in the way we think of as mobile. It's sort of like a hybrid, and I think there was a time not too long ago that people called laptops mobile, and some people still consider that. And actually, when you're looking at the statistics, you have to figure out like what are they even defining as mobile. But I think that's going to get even more confusing. And some, for statistics purposes, that's tough. But I think that's a good thing for the marketplace because as mobile continues to reach its way into all of our lives, it's going to add a lot of value and make this a much more strong channel to utilize. So that's it. Thank you again to LA2M for having me to present.
Great. 5 minutes for questions. If you just want to repeat the question, you only have one mic.
Sure.
If they want to raise their hand if they have a question and keep it on.
One thing is pushback on price.
Right, okay. So the first question was privacy issues. Cell phone companies right now, I mean, like Apple, I think, is having a lot of pushback on privacy and what they're doing. Google had some, a lot have come out, and I think Microsoft as well. All these things are sort of becoming uncovered. I think they were always doing them, but people were saying, hey, wait, I think Microsoft's tracking us and putting that in some big database somewhere. And so there's a lot of consumer rights organizations that are up in arms about what's going on in the marketplace. It definitely, there's still a lot to be shaken out, I think, on that end. I think it's true of a lot of different industries where they have these things that have to be worked out early on. Any branding? I believe some companies are using, this concept of within their brand saying we're not using your information for anything, or they're being much more transparent about it than other companies. If that's what you mean, like with somebody that's sort of certifying whether or not somebody's meeting. I don't think anybody's certified. There are standards out there. There's an international group that actually sort of defines the standards for privacy globally. I can't think of the name of it, but I know they define the standards. I don't believe that they run any actual certifications of it or anything like that. So that's definitely still sort of in it. I mean, there's a lot of activity actually in that area, but it still pretty much is in its infancy, and I think there's a lot more to shake out in those terms. And hopefully, I think you'll see some control. I don't want to see the pendulum swing too far the other way, because then it makes it very difficult from a marketing standpoint to do things. But there's certainly a happy medium you can find. I think that will meet everybody's needs. And the other question though on the QR codes, the competition.
QR is anything up and coming.
So the question: any up and coming technologies in QR codes or competition? So other types of codes, or right. Well, Microsoft's got a code that's similar to a QR code. And then there's
Data matrix.
Data matrix. But I say, so from my understanding, the general thought out there for QR codes is that there's going to be technology that basically leapfrog it, and at some point it won't be as useful down the road. But I think a lot of that still has to be shaken out. But that's, yep.
So, are there any metrics that show, let's say you've got a store and you go mobile as well. Do you have any metrics that show whether or not people, does their bottom line go up much, or is it just kind of shifted from brick and mortar over to mobile?
Right. So well, a lot of it comes into the metrics you put in place, obviously. But one of the things that I think you have to think about when you think about all these different channels is I think actually the last presentation I was here for LA2M was Charlie Curve, not the one he recently did, but the one he did before that. But he always talked about that concept that don't fall in love with your channels, fall in love with your customer. And that's the thing. I mean, if the customer's going to mobile, you need to be concerned about what makes it the easiest way for them to buy from you. So I think that's the premise for I think a lot of things right now. If the customer's going mobile, they're going to do it, and if you're either providing that more of a service to give it to them or not. But all that said, I don't know if I've seen metrics that actually say. I understand like what's the ROI? Can I add new markets?
You make X dollar a month, X number of dollars a year.
Right.
You're not going to spend any more because you only have certain amounts. So how is that going to be distributed?
Right. Well, I think a lot of it depends on the company. I'm sure. I mean, if you're an e-commerce company and you have a mobile, and obviously you had a mobile website and you're competing in electronics, you can probably take a chunk of Best Buy's. Depending on how good savvy you are in marketing. Whereas if you actually are Best Buy, you're basically adding mobile as a new service to enhance the customer experience. Or I guess where you can compete. I guess if they're going into other companies, other services going on. So people are going. But yeah, to be honest though, I haven't seen some great metrics on using mobile as a new market to grow, additional revenues. So I'd like to see that as well.
Keith, next week we have at LA2M feature talking about cloud computing. So my question is, how does mobile technology work in impacting cloud computing and vice versa?
Right. Well, nowadays you see probably. I mean, a lot of mobile technology is startups, and most startups are using cloud. It's just a much more cost-effective way to ramp up. They're using like Amazon services and things like that as the back end of their data, and so I think it's having a major effect on that. I wouldn't say for a fact that everybody that's in mobile is utilizing the cloud. Everybody has their own strategies, and there's a lot of traditional companies that are using mobile that they're probably using their existing systems that haven't been put into the cloud yet. You talk about. I'm guessing that there's going to be some discussion next week that of the IT perspective of the cloud and security issues and risks and concerns, and companies that are established and have a big infrastructure that isn't cloud-based. There's still a lot of people that are holding out on the cloud, and if they're doing mobile, they're not using the cloud for the mobile. But in general, a lot of people think of as mobile as being synonymous with the cloud because it's on your device, you put it up somewhere, and then you get it down on your laptop and things like that. And a lot of the apps are utilizing the cloud. I mean, how many people use Evernote? That's a really popular app. That's basically considered a cloud app. But Dropbox is a cloud app. A lot of the apps that are very popular on the major platforms are all very cloud-based.
We have time for one more question. Anybody have any more questions?
For a small business entity, where do you see their reluctance to embrace those?
One of the things I think is the cost of building an app. Apps I think are a great opportunity for a small business, but they're expensive. And like I said, whatever you're spending on the app, you really want to consider spending at least that much on your marketing. So it's double the cost than what most people even think of. And apps can cost anywhere from $25,000 to $50,000 starting.
My question is more in context for an existing small business that could internalize some of their procedures with an app. What is their privacy issue? That they actually monitor their infrastructure?
So in terms of using mobile from a business process standpoint, well, there's so many great apps out there for helping small businesses. So I guess I would say that and I've heard a lot of concerns about privacy and the cloud and security issues there. I don't know if you guys heard about the big break-in from using Google Docs and Twitter. Those things are happening a lot. A lot of it's due to user error, like making a password too easy to find and things like that. But that continues to kind of eat away at people's concern or create more concerns for utilizing mobile. But there's a lot of great apps for small business to utilize, things like Dropbox and Evernote. If you go on their forums and you read their blog posts, you'll see so many different ways people are utilizing Evernote for small business. It's not even funny. It's a really there's a lot of creativity being put into these apps that are basically establishing a foundation of usability, and then people are just taking it to the next level, in terms of how they're using it for all their different things. So, I think a big part of it is just finding the time to adopt new technology, and I think that's going to come up sooner than later.
Let's give Keith Horn a round of applause. Thank you, Keith. Excellent talk. We have one more entry. All right.
One more.
Stacy, you're
Put a
gonna.
new one around.
I'm gonna shake it. Stacy's gonna pull the name, right?
No.
All right. Carter, come on, pull the name out of the hat. Don't pick your own. I guess you can if you want. And the winner is. Oh, wait, I can't read that. Susan Harris, PhD. Enjoy it. All right, good. So now we do introductions, and we get around the whole room in 20 minutes, and it's a small miracle every week. So please stand up when you introduce yourself. Give us your name, your company, and if you have a brief ask, or you're looking for something, let us know. And we'll start over here, and we'll go all the way around the room.
My name is Amar Iqbal. I was doing business intelligence dashboard solutions last year, and the company I work for sort of merged, and But I saw a lot of the clients that I was working with are moving towards mobility, so now I'm focusing on apps for small business process enhancement.
Hi, I'm Karen Hetzelberg, and I'm one of the local guerrilla marketing consultants, and we help small merchants get online.
Hi, I'm Elaine Medrow. I work at McKinley. I'm a creative associate there.
Hi, I'm Taylor Hullock, and I'm the social media director at Regroup, which is an ad marketing firm. Hi, I'm Stacy from Dollar Bill, and we're local digital print shop. And thank you for the QR tips, because ours are boring. So we send mailers out because everybody's getting away from email. Every time I send my email newsletter, I get more and more opt-outs. But we're getting a lot of response from our mailers, but our QR code's boring, so I gotta make it fun. That was neat, seeing the cows that went to a game and all that. So I'm glad you were here today.
Be sure that what they go to is valuable.
Right.
That's the key thing with QR codes. I mean, a lot of people will say, oh, go to this page, and they go to a page and it's like a brochure or something.
Yeah, right. That's what it does.
They're going to be mad at you for that. It's actually a great negative, impact. So.
Hi, I'm Dee Davey, Creative Ideas Marketing. I help businesses who are looking to improve their revenues, grow their business, but they're not quite sure what to do. They're kind of stuck with their marketing. They know they need to take another step, but they're so busy doing the business that they don't have time to think about it. I help them sort through those problems. Dee Davey, Creative Ideas Marketing.
Hi, I'm Bill Lockwood with Area Link. We're building the infrastructure that allows all that mobile technology to actually function. Every time one of those little signals goes up, it zings around on our fiber optic network. So if you want to do more business, we love it.
Good afternoon, Dr. Thomas Blackwell, principal owner of Impel International, a motivational training company.
Robert Batstresser. I'm working for Arbor Software, and I think my title is ABC, which is anything but code.
Dave Cosiel, Arbor Software. I'm president, and what Arbor Software does is we help you go mobile. So we help clients build mobile apps, figure out what mobile means to them. That's what we do.
Hi, I'm Owen Kartha. I work for Compendia Bioscience, and we're doing genetic research on cancer. I also have a consulting company, Syntec Development, and we do a lot of cloud development and implementation, as well as mobile app development.
Hi, my name is Gary Yost. I'm semi-retired these days, but I was a former chief marketing officer and president of the international media for Velasys, a worldwide leader in incentive marketing programs, coupons, rebates, price offs, etc. I find it interesting that in your presentation, mobile, having managed businesses in the international theater in both China and Europe, we're now catching up to where they were a few years ago. China is just so far ahead of us, it's amazing.
Hi, I'm Tom Crawford, and among other things, I am a mobile app developer. I have 4 apps on the store right now, and in the next couple of weeks, there'll be 2 more. If you want to learn how to cook, or you know somebody who might need to learn how to cook, check out Viz Chef. It's VIZCHEF.
I'm Jacob Shawless, work for CoolGeek.com. We sell pool and spa chemicals online.
I am Jim Campbell from ExcitingProductions.com, and my ask is to let me know if you know somebody that has a story that they would like to have told, and you can see how we've helped people at ExcitingProductions.com.
Hi, I'm Mike Brooks. I'm with Import Technologies, or a local technology startup, but I'm here to actually plug ACE, the annual collaboration of entrepreneurship, which is going to take place Tuesday, January 31st at Skyline High School. And if you want to reach about, I don't know how many hundred entrepreneurs and also service providers to those entrepreneurs, you should be there. We're going to have about 900 to 1,000 attendees. It'll start at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We're also going to have a exciting new announcement, which you're going to hear at first here. A fellow by the name of Scott Case, who was the inventor of Priceline, is going to be there to make a presentation about a new program called Startup Michigan, which is part of a national program called Startup America that is going to support entrepreneurs through a lot of major corporations who are going to provide support to these to the entrepreneurial activities on a state-by-state basis. So it's going to be a very exciting event, and you sign up before the weekend, $12 online. If you show up at the door, it's $20, and the food is free. Can't beat that. Bye.
Hi, my name is Dan Lutwin. I am a recent grad at Michigan State University, and I currently work for Ingenex doing digital marketing.
Hi, my name is Paul Chambers.com. So you can find me. I run an online marketing company out of Troy, Michigan. Just recently did Startup Week in Ann Arbor, so I spent all weekend here. We launched a new service called taskmissile.com. Excited about that. But you can find everything I do at paulchambers.com because it's too much to talk about here.
My name is Katie Miller, and I work for Core 3 Solutions out of Troy, and we are a web development and online marketing company.
My name is Hans. My company is Text Ripple, and we help business owners communicate with their customers via text message.
Hi, I'm Brian Riskiner from Wireless Zone of Ann Arbor out on Jackson Road across from there. We sell and support all these mobile devices, so see what we got. Tonight, or Wednesdays, we have what we call Droid Night. You can come by with your Android phone and we'll teach you about it, talk about apps, answer any questions you might have. We're developing an Apple iPhone for you people, class as well. And no, we love iPhone. So come on and see us. Thanks.
My name is Brad Ritz. I'm an online marketing intern at Store Interactive Group. We're a small search engine optimization firm over on Liberty, and we just do search engine optimization.
My name is Chris Poza. I'm a recent grad at Michigan State. Go Green. I know they're all Spartans in Ann Arbor. I am an English major, and I'm currently looking for work right now.
Casey Peters. I work for Dexter Builders. We're a construction company, but focus mainly on residential remodeling. So if you need help, let me know.
Hi, I'm Brian Beecher. I work at the University of Michigan, do a lot of stuff with the cloud. I work at a place that makes very big promises to the government. We deliver down here, and the cloud cushions.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Frank Blanche from Zenacomp. We are a Microsoft technology firm based in Farmington Hills, dealing in managed network services, managing computer networks, cloud-based services, systems from 15 PCs to 75 PCs is our niche. We also do custom software development, application development, and mobile application development. Brandon Blanche with Zenacomp.
I'm Mike Morris. I'm an engineering manager. I spent 25 years in machine vision. I've got my own consulting company, so if you're in machine vision.
Hi, I'm Kim Beeson. I'm an associate writer, project coordinator at Move Communications, which is a marketing and communications company here in Ann Arbor.
Hello, I'm Jane Grammatico, and I actually work with them at Move, and I'm an intern.
Hi, I'm Joey Hampton. I work for Torrance Learning. We are an e-learning design development company.
I'm Roger Rayle. I do the video here and several other networking groups, and also I'll be doing video at ACE, and along with my crew, Mike and Dennis, who did get introduced, and Jim Templeton.
I am Ross Johnson with a design and marketing firm called 3.7 Designs. Among lots of things, we also design mobile websites and mobile interfaces. So if you're designing an app or building an app and you don't have a design for it, come see me.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Dusak, and I'm holding a 2-day do-it-yourself WordPress workshop and mini-conference. So our attendees will leave with a website that they built themselves, can market and manage themselves as well.
And you're sponsored.
And I'm sponsoring the next one.
When is
So
it?
see me
When
after
is
if you're
it?
interested.
When is it?
April 5th and 6th.
And I'd really recommend those WordPress sessions. I'm Janice Milham. I have a company called Milham Images, and I specialize in visual marketing and branding. I work with a lot of small, medium-sized businesses, and I help them create a visual story using photography and video.
I'm Peter Ray. I'm CEO of Arbor Scientific. We're a multi-channel marketer of science and education equipment.
Hi, I'm Samantha Sevikin. I'm the newest member of the marketing team at Bank of Ann Arbor.
Hi, I'm Ruth Taubman. I'm a jewelry designer in Ann Arbor, and I'm here looking for connections to a new employee. We're looking for somebody that can do graphic design, photography, and marketing. See me afterwards. I have things to give away if anybody's interested. All right.
I'm a lucky winner. Susan Harris. The first thing I always do is go through, look at the table of contents pretty quickly, and I did that, and I looked up a couple of things in the index. They're all there. I'm a pretty avid Facebook and Twitter person. It looks fabulous.
I'll sign it for you.
Good afternoon. I'm Monty Fowler, WebWideStudios.com, and just an example to prove what Kevin was saying. There's a QR code on Heinz 57. I went to it, I scanned it, and it was a game that had stopped last September. I can't tell you the depth of my disappointment. So I think it's really important to make sure your QR codes, even on something like this, it's going to hang around for a long time, goes to something worthwhile. Or at least
especially at something like that.
Yes.
Expiration date.
I'm Mary Lou Olds, and I do actually do a variety of things. I'm a freelance writer, and I also am a licensed insurance agent, and I sell advertising for AnnArbor.com. My ask today is, if you have a writing project that's staring you in the face that you just can't get started on, you'd rather not deal with it, let me know, I'll help you out.
Hi, I'm Carter Sherline for Print Studios, and I'm a commercial editorial and portrait photographer, sometimes videographer. I'll be working on these as well.
Thanks, Carter. Yeah, Carter's a great photographer. He volunteers his time to come here, so if anybody ever needs a photographer, you should talk to Print Studios. So my name is Derek Maribon, CEO of Ingenix Digital Marketing. I just came out with a book, which I'm really happy about. New E-Driver's License Resource Guide, which dovetails with the class I teach at MSU. So a couple things. How many in here are going to that ACE event next week? Okay. I encourage you, if you haven't signed up yet, it's really a wonder to behold. I guess that's a good way to put it. It's kind of like the first time you see the Grand Canyon. I mean, it's big, and there's a lot of good speakers. Anybody that wants to be in a startup or learn how to do a startup, you should be there. Roger's,
good food, too.
And good food.
Yeah, very good.
And Roger and his crew are going to be live streaming it, which is really cool. So you can watch online, but you can also watch some of the archived programs, because there's like so many good speakers simultaneously with multiple breakout sessions. That's next Tuesday from 2 to 9. It's only $12. That's cheap. Second thing, we love Bank of Ann Arbor. Thanks for being here. Yeah. That's LA2M's bank. They help us out. Third thing, thanks for Keith Bourne. Great speaker. Let's give him one more round of applause. Great job. And next week, I'm really excited. We have a guy who actually is from U of M. His name's Brian Beecher. And he works at the same place my wife works. And my wife's like, this guy's really smart. You got to get him in to speak. And I believe it too. He's got a reputation as a great computer guy around town. That you probably, some of you geeks might know him. But Brian Beecher's going to talk about the cloud computing, which I think is a hot topic. And yeah, so be here next week. Bring a friend, and we'll see you all next time. Thanks for coming.